But it's strange for you because you were saying, well, to have a job, but I think now you have a job. You really have a job.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I constantly make like architecture and craft and woodworking jokes and parallels about how this thing is built. You know, people are like, how do you write your songs? And I was like, well, Ben usually kind of frames out the walls, and Greg and I go in and paint and pick out the curtains, you know, and like...
Because that was a question, because you were saying, well, you're constantly creative now, photographs, drawing and stuff like that. But Ben, he writes most of the music. Is this band then for you, is the creative outlet in this band for you enough?
I mean, musically at the moment, yeah. I mean, I would still play in other bands, you know. I just don't... and I really like the amount of time that I get to like write my parts, you know. Like Ben doesn't write my parts for me, and he's very liberal about like how it all comes out. So, you know, and there's definitely little things that I get to play with, you know. When there's a point where once I know the basic rhythm of the song, the basic structure, Ben will leave, you know. Ben will just be like, I got things to do at home if you want to hang out here. And at the time I'd go and just hang out with Chris and just play the songs for a few hours, you know, and we'd only have maybe 3 songs and 3 minutes each. So we just, you know, just woodshed this stuff so much, you know.
So, but that's good enough for you. That's the thing that you really want to from this band.
I mean, there are other things that I eventually want to do, you know what I mean, musically. For the moment, I just kind of feel like I'm honing my craft.
Okay.
And I'm learning, you know, how to songwrite a little bit more, and like, you know, yeah, I will get there. It's really not like a driving ambition to me to be a songwriter. I'm not like a Prince who feels like I have all these songs to write, you know. I don't really feel like that. I do feel like I need to be creative. You know, and it's just kind of like, as long as I'm doing that, or like, you know, exhaling as much as I'm inhaling, then I'm happy in some way, you know. It's, you know, being on tour, not just playing music, but it gives me the opportunity to like draw or keep journals and things like that I don't always have time to do when I'm doing a 9-to-5 job at home. You know,
so has it always been the same things that you did the last 9 years? I mean, or is it, well, maybe the first years you were more into photographing and now more into drawing?
Yeah, maybe, you know. Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, pretty much the whole time I've been keeping journals. That's like a pretty staple thing. Like every day I write about 2 to 4 pages about what's been going on the last day or two, if I skip a day or something. And eventually I'd like to edit that into something, I'd probably make it a work of fiction or some kind of realistic fiction, change the names and...
So it's not, you know, diary based then? I mean,
some of it is, but I think some of it's also like trying to be objective, knowing that certain situations will like, you know, certain stories will somehow make, you know, make their way into some kind of edited version later.
Because when I spoke to Craig, he was really outspoken about, well, the fights that Chris and Ben had.
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view,
what did you write about it? What did you write about it?
I'm just like, this is ridiculous. You know, certain days I'd be like, Chris is an asshole. Certain days I'd be like, Ben's a prick. You know, just like, what, these two are, you know, out of their minds, or, you know, whatever. You know, certain days it would go back and forth. Some days I'd hate both of them. Sometimes I'd be on one side or the other. Sometimes I'd just be like, I don't care.
Was it hard?
It was, hard's not the wrong, it's the wrong word. It just felt very, you know, you felt very uprooted. And you're just like, you know, when are my feet both going to hit the ground? You know, you're just kind of like, throw the cards up, wait for it, you know, you don't know what's going to hit the ground or what's going to stick. You know, you see them explode and you don't know which one is going to be like the final breakup, you know. It was only hard to, I don't know. I don't want to sound overly confident, but I don't think it was as hard as, looking back on it, there might have only been like a few days where we were a little stressed out about it, and then it was just like the Dillinger attitude comes back. You know, one person kind of reminds, you know, Ben or me or Greg will remind each other of like who we are, what we're doing, and that there are other drummers out there. We've always been able to replace members. You know, Greg and I are both replacements, and I think that we've taken the ball and run with it, you know, so I'm not worried about finding a drummer. It's just in a matter of time, when are we going to find him.